Well, the Gulfoods seminar has been on. We've seen the traffic that's been building up around much of the World Trade Centre. But to find out more about what Gulfood really is, we are joined in the studio by Salloni Ghodawat. She is the COO of Ghodawat Consumer Limited and also heads up the sales team of GCL. Now, Ghodawat Consumer Limited is one of the fastest growing FMCG, that's fast-moving consumer good enterprises in India, and has recently earned a distinguished recognition of becoming a 1,400 crore revenue company. And we're happy to say that Salloni is joining us here in the studio. Thank you very much for joining us here on Talk 100.3.
Hi, thank you so much, Kitch, for having me here.
Yeah, it's great to have you down here. I know we've been able to wrestle you away from the Gulfood seminar, and from the footage that we've seen, this seems to have been an absolutely record-breaking number of people that have gone up to what is essentially a food trade show.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people are really looking forward to coming back in one place after the pandemic, and the footfall last 2 days has been incredible, and it's really good to see the trade, the new companies, the distributors all coming together to one single place.
Your company is not just huge in India, it is one of the biggest in the world when it comes down to food. So for someone like you that already has a big footprint, what do you see and what do you get out of going to something like Gulfoods?
So this year's objective was very different. We have acquired 2 new brands called Coolberg, which is a non-alcoholic beverage brand, and To Be Honest, which is into fruit and vegetable chips. So the purpose for this year was to, take the Indian footprint and spread it across the world, and that's been the agenda this year.
When it comes down to your markets outside India for Indian products, is the UAE one of your biggest? What is the biggest market outside India for Indian foods?
So these brands, we don't consider them Indian as such.
Okay.
They can be they're international appeal,
right?
And we can always customize it based on, like, spice levels can be changed. We can change the packaging. But UAE, of course, is the hub for Middle East. But Africa and US, Europe, all of this market for our products.
You have a huge range of products: fruit drinks, dairy products, bakery products, salts, energy drinks. When it comes down to consumer trends, where are you seeing the line? Is there a growing need for people to say, for example, have sugar-free drinks, or is it a case of people are now asking far more questions as to the authenticity of certain products and how healthy they are? What are the trends that you're seeing with consumers in food?
So if I take India as an example, I think pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, things have changed a lot. Consumers pre-pandemic always wanted health food. They wanted an avenue. But India, just because of the sheer size of the country, companies couldn't afford to, spread the distribution. So we always had home bakers or passion projects. But post the pandemic, the D2C space, the quick commerce, which allows brands to deliver the product in 10 minutes, has really allowed brands to spread, and you can see the shift completely. The sugar-free, people are shifting from milk to dark chocolate, from frappuccinos to black coffee, from and from alcohol to non-alcohol beverages, and that's where we see the shift happening, and that's why we invested in these companies, because this is the future.
Do you think why is that? Because do you think it's during COVID people learned to cook themselves a lot more and therefore had more of an interest as to what is in certain products and where they came from?
I think it's a mix of both, but I think the general awareness or health aspect has really multifolded. The new millennials this year, this generation here knows what's good for you. Smoking used to be good back in the 70s, but it's no longer the case.
My grandmother was told to smoke to relax.
Exactly, yeah, but that's completely different. This generation is much more aware of their health and what is required. They read the labels. They want clean labels. They're able to understand that this is just a marketing gimmick and this is not. So a lot more thought has been given to the packaging, and the brands realize that, and they're not trying to fool the customer anymore.
Does that make it easier as a marketer? When you've got that people are so, the market, especially the next generation coming through, they're so straight and resolute in what they want?
It's easy for the marketer in a way, but it's also tough because people will not buy something which is not tasty. And you can't really, it's a thin line between, salt, sugar, and oil. That's what we all love. If you don't have them, the people don't want to pay the money for it. So you have to spend on R&D and develop products which consumers actually want, but actually taste good as well.
I'm fascinated by how you do R&D. If you have a line of let's just say you have a new energy drink that you want to sell. What is the process in R&D? Do you look at market trends? Do you just try and experiment flavors, and then do you literally get a section of people to taste and they mark the score?
So multiple avenues. The thing is, when you develop a product and you do a consumer survey or a focus group study, you need to understand what the customer thinks of you. You might think in a boardroom that this is what the customer perceives my product as, but that might not be the case. And you need to, for a product to be successful or to go to have a success ratio, you need to connect with the consumer on a certain level, and you need to fulfill that one urge of the day. Why will the customer pick you? And if you're able to do that, then that's when the brand grows. That's what the marketeers and that's what every brand is trying to do. Why will the customer pick me? And try to find that emotional connect, if there is any.
And does that come through with names of products and certain colours and certain fonts that make it more attractive?
It's the font, it's the story, it's the authenticity, it's how you connect the dots, it's the whole experience as well. Nowadays, brands are really spending on even a small package that you get online. What is the story? They want to show, even from the founders to how it's sustainable to how it's affecting the community after that. So a lot of 360-degree integration is happening on that.
Yeah, it certainly is. People do want to know about the entire supply chain and the life cycle of the products. In your experience, in your working, you're the role of the COO of Ghodawat Consumer Limited. What are your thoughts on this new era of D2C startups? You mentioned D2C before. What are your thoughts on D2C startups both in India and the Middle East?
Well, I think this is gold mine. This is the future. People always wanted to experiment with products, but they just didn't have the capital. With the D2C space, for example, in India, they are able to reach the entire country overnight. If you're able to just list your products, a customer can order your products from north to south, which was just impossible. Only the big multinationals were able to get the strong
have the network,
and still it took them a while. But here overnight you can be present across the entire country as big as India. So this is it's really, really encouraging for smaller brands, and it's giving them a level playing field against the big multinationals as well.
Because one of the hardest things, I think, particularly for many countries, if you are in that first fast-moving consumer goods, is even if you've got a great product, it might be a great style of potato chips, the hardest thing is to get it into certain supermarkets.
Exactly.
It's getting it into those 2 or 3 supply channels. And that's not just in India, that's across most countries. There's 3 or 4 supermarket operators that if you can get it in the shelf, then you're going to have a sale. And you think that this really it destabilizes a lot of those supply chains and makes it a far more even playing field?
It's even that, and with the whole social media and with the advertising directly to consumers, knowing where your consumer is and what they're seeing and tracking it, you're able to convince the consumer as well that this is the product for you, and give them a swipe up and they'll buy your product instantly.
Able to build that relationship.
Exactly.
Your company has grown exceptionally quickly, as we said. You now are one of the fastest growing enterprises in India. In any sector of business, you often hear about a company that's got a great idea and a great business model, but they grow too quick and they get themselves into too much debt, and then they're suddenly playing catch up. What advice do you have as a leader for other companies who might be starting out and looking at taking those first steps to grow but not grow too quickly?
So I think one thing that every company needs to do is to ensure that the systems and processes are set, to follow the basic fundamentals, and to ensure that your system is robust. We do make, I'm not saying we didn't make mistakes. We all do make mistakes, but to keep the system and processes in place and have a great team. One thing that we've done with these 2 acquisitions of Coolberg and TBH is we've kept the founders with us. We realize that they are the ones who've built the brand. They know it better, and their expertise matters. So we have our expertise, they have our expertise. Get a great team together, and that's a winning formula. Yeah,
I think that is tremendous advice. When you're looking at many other startups, and you're looking to acquire other businesses. What do you look for in other businesses if you are looking to merge and work with other companies?
Yeah, so we pretty much look at it in three points. The first point is, what are the synergies? What is it that we can offer to the brand or the company? Is it we as a group specialize in manufacturing, so we would like to offer the manufacturing capabilities so that we can take that in-house and reduce the cost of goods sold. The second, and probably the one of the most important, is the founder. How aligned is the founder with us? What are their ambitions? If we see a project which they want to just flip and exit, we typically don't deal with that because we don't see the drive. The founder is one of the most important points. And third is, how big do we see the category growing in the future? If it's the future, if we see it has great potential to India and to take it abroad, these are the three criteria we look at.
No, I think that's fantastic advice. We've been generous with your time, so we do appreciate you coming in. Just lastly, do you have a favourite product that you like of all the dozens that you make?
Oh, I can't be biased.
Come on.
Not at all.
The finger sticks, the soya sticks, what are they?
The finger sticks is something that we have created. I've created personally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's a baked product which is with corn and potato, and it looks like French fries on the packet. So it's taking you back nostalgia, and it's allowing it to have a baked French fries on the go.
Well, if you created it, I'll take it that it might be your favourite. Salloni Ghodawat, the COO of Ghodawat Consumer Limited. Congratulations on all of your success.
Thank you so much.
And enjoy the rest of your time at Gulfoods here in Dubai.
Thank you.